and welcome back. Today we're doing just another live stream, chill in the studio. Liam Jones and I are gathering. There could be possibly other artists. I sent out the link to a number of different artists, so if they decide to pop in, they do. If not, oh well.
What's going on, sir? How are you?
I'm well. Just want to work on some pages today, break into the day. I'm feeling a little bit more artistic today, so
excellent. Me, I'm just gonna probably figure out this logo today. do some more tech stuff, but because I'm so new to it, it's just slow and tedious. But I don't mind. We'll get this done.
I haven't even decided. Like, I'm not even warmed up either, so no warm-ups this morning.
I don't know. I don't understand how Clip works with like here. I'm moving everything except my text. It's really interesting. Okay. I gotta say, your page there looks fantastic, my friend.
Well, thank you, sir. I'm just trying to figure out some stuff and go with the flow, but I really appreciate it. Just exploring. Spent a lot of time yesterday staring at Todd McFarlane's and Capullo's work. So
isn't he great? He's so good.
I think I'm going to start studying and researching artists a little bit more, and then I'm sure you'll start to see the outcome of that.
Yeah.
Because I am really heavy with the shadows, so, and I really like shadows. Like, I really want to figure out how I can make them more successful as I draw. So, and I do like working dark to light, right? So,
well, in a comic book, you can, like it works for the graphic quality. Like in real painting, it's that people work like that as well, using scumbling techniques and what have you, dark to light, right? But the traditional way, and the way that I learned, was always working light to dark and throwing transparencies over transparencies over transparencies. But in comic books, I mean, what you're doing there, especially with action, you're going to want the immediacy. So you want the graphic quality and the immediacy of it. Is that a good word? Like, that sounds like an art speak word to me, immediacy. But yeah, it just means that it's more fun to look at. Really, like, it gets you excited. You look at it and it gets you pumped up, rather than marveling at the like the Rembrandt skills, the way the lights glow out of the dark. It's like, yeah, it's not the thing we're looking for in comic books.
I used to paint both ways, right? So I used to paint backgrounds, dark backgrounds, and then work the scumbling and the light tones out, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just the way I want to work, or
yeah, well, it's, you're going to learn to do both, and it's not like you're limited to both. I think you just get comfortable in one, and then you go into a medium like comics, and then you're kind of faced with a different challenge. Okay, let's try this again here. I like the challenge of fonts in a new program.
New font.
And why is it over there, I wonder? I don't know.
Just because it wants to be. good I didn't draw my black layer. I thought I just did. That was close.
No, don't want to do that. There.
It's good because my pen's now responding the way it needs to be responding.
Oh, that's great. Like Photoshop, like as much as I love Photoshop, like if I was to do what I'm doing now in Photoshop, I could be in and out done, you know, which is great. But then you also have the problems that come with Photoshop. Constant maintenance of your GPU and updates. Really, really heavy on your system.
Yeah, it's been doing all right. So I did some changes. I think it's have more issues with the management of the scratch discs and things like that. Once they, once they become full, then they tend to get a little bit more quirky.
Yes. Yes.
How was the rest of your work last night after the bus stream?
It was late. It was late, man. Today I'm hoping I won't have to do a lot of stuff so I can get into this, but I have my doubts. Okay, so now, oh my gosh, every time I try to select it, it just selects everything else. Do I have to lock every other layer? Like, is that what I got to do? I got to lock every other layer, right? Fine. I will lock every other stinking layer.
I will win and you will not.
I can't select the thing that I want to move. Clip Studio, why are you like this? Why?
Well, soon enough, you're going to be a pro.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll laugh and watch me as I get into Clip Studio at some point in
time. Good luck to you, sir.
Watch the growing pains. I guess Procreate was having some issues with one of their recent updates or whatever.
Yeah.
So
you're not using Procreate. Are you going to use Procreate? Is that what you're saying?
When I get my iPad and stuff like that, I'll probably dabble in Procreate as well. So
can't wait, dude. I'm stoked. I need to get my own iPad as well. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's next on my hit list.
Yeah, it's gotta happen. Okay, so okay. Right. If I was gonna do this in Photoshop, I would go into layer qualities, outline, color in the middle, boom, 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 done. And this is just confusing me. I can't adjust the outline. Oops. Really? Background color is a banner. Edge is a glow.
Yeah, I was seeing if Alan wanted to come on the stream, and I sent a link to Felipe as well.
It's a rare and beautiful thing when we get Alan on.
Yeah, And then
Al-Anon, that's the name of an organization to get off of alcohol.
but he's inking pages right now for Silver Sparrow.
Hey, fantastic.
And he's working on page 6 right now. So he's trucking along.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So that one's going to come up pretty soon. So going to be working on that book soon. Like the final aspects of it, you know, putting in the dialogue, coloring it. So
that's great, dude. Yes.
Yeah, it's nice when you can get to that point. Not to mention the Kickstarter keeps on moving forward. Keep on getting more and more backers each day.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. So heartening.
Yeah, there hasn't been any sort of slowdown at all. Like there's been constant pledging going on, which is great. And that's usually the biggest vice for some of these Kickstarter campaigns is when they stop and don't have any traffic or any flow for sometimes weeks at a time. So
what is the main exposure? Like, where are people finding it? Are they finding it on Kickstarter? Are they finding it on Facebook, YouTube? What's drawing the traffic?
I think it's just what's moving traffic to is us staying on the constant promotional edge.
Yes. But what platforms is what I mean?
We're actually really successful with Facebook, surprisingly enough. So
yes, good.
Which is awesome. A lot of people still use Facebook for everything, right? So
yep.
A lot of people don't really want to be bothered with a lot of the new aspects of technology, right? You know, they're in with the old. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
They're comfortable with that platform, and same with me. I like a little bit of simplicity, but I never used any social media at all before I got into, you know, the business side of it. So, and using it as a platform to move my brand and yeah.
Okay, cool.
Even when I ran my painting business a bunch of years back, yeah, I didn't use much social media at all. I used a lot of direct mail advertising, things like that. But as soon as I got the referral train going, the thing never stopped.
It's sweet. Yeah.
Like I had people contacting me a few months ago to see if I'd be able to paint or do stuff for them, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I haven't painted in years. Like, and then I would give them a referral to people that I know are still doing that. So
yeah, I do that myself. You got to do what you want to do, rather, sometimes you got to pay the bills, and if someone offers to pay you money to do art, it is hard to turn it down, but it's so beautiful to turn it down when you really don't want to do it, when you're not in a position where when you're in a position that you're not desperate and you can say no. It's it's great.
I just haven't painted in years, so yeah, I don't I don't really want to paint.
Right.
It is a skill I have. Like, I painted for a long time. House painting we're talking about.
House painting. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've done a lot of little murals and things like that as well. So
when I tell people I'm a painter, that's the first thing they think. Oh, house painter. Yeah. Like, no, art paint, like arty.
Yeah, that's why you need to say traditional painter, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, you paint traditional houses? Oh, that's great. Yeah.
That's probably what would come out. Yeah. Yeah, I rocked the French broke, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the largest house I'd ever been in working was like 25,000 square foot. A little bit of a beast of a house.
Very nice.
Those were back in the days when Andrew Tong and I used to stomp around together.
Yeah, that's great, man. Back in the day, I worked in a call center to get through art college, and I was very happy with the job at the time, and it served a purpose. But I am not made for that kind of environment, and I'm really glad I'm out of it. It was a thing. Yeah, that was a very long time in that call center as well.
Liam was not made for loving you, baby.
Office jobs. I mean, if it's an art studio office job, now that's different. You know, now you're talking about using Photoshop all day long. You know, having top-notch computers, working with other artists. That's cool. Like if I was in a graphic design firm or something, that probably would be different. But even then, I remember I did a co-op program in high school in a graphic design firm, and it was, to my Marxist brain at the time, it was all corporate. They wanted me to watch the papers, like the financial section, to monitor stocks in different companies and stuff. And they had me going to get their coffee, and it was extremely catty atmosphere. They'd be nice to your face and nasty behind your back. And I was so turned off of it. I was like, I'm never working in a graphic design firm again, which is really bad. I mean, it's because it's a fine business, you know, but I think I was just ideological back at that time, you know, and I was like, I don't want to be corporate. I want to be a creative. I want to make, you know, that kind of thing, which is still the case in my brain. I don't want to be corporate. I want to be a creative guy, but I'm not afraid of the corporate world anymore.
The corporate world, the bullying of the corporate world.
I understand how people are, and people make power plays. All like I've read enough self-help books now to understand that people are always vying for their personal game. You know, like everyone's got an angle on something to try to move forward in their life, and they have some kind of like, you know, self-interest at play, right? Everyone does, and if you don't respect that, then you're you're going to get taken advantage of, or you're going to hate everybody, you know. And me yourself, like me, you, everybody has that. And you, just because you don't like it or you don't acknowledge it doesn't make it not true. It's like you're looking out for your own life. You want to make sure you have a roof over your head, your family's taken care of, that you're impressive to the opposite sex or your wife or whatever. You know, it's important. You know what I mean?
Some ways.
Am I just going off on a tangent? It's because I'm reading the 48 Laws of Power right now, and it's got me. I listened to it for like 3 or 4 hours yesterday.
Nice.
It's a wonderful book. It's hard to take. Like I had to adjust to it for a second, but it's great.
I've been reading the 3 minutes of shame.
What's 3 minutes of shame?
Yeah,
what?
You've been reading the 48 minutes of power, and I've been reading the 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah. It's a joke. It's a funny.
That one
Not bad. I just got to check something here for a moment. Verify what time I got to leave, because if I do, I got to get ready. Yeah. All right. Okay, I'll give it 15 more minutes, then I got to chat.
Sweet.
Now,
I don't know if the old way of thinking, and it is definitely an old way of thinking, that, you gotta pay your dues and, do this and do that and blah, 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 blah. All this pre-programming stuff that tends to be
None of it is true. None of it is
impregnated
true.
into our brains.
Yeah.
The psychological, mind play by those people in those positions to keep you down and to make sure that they're on top. And
if people are saying that to your face, that's one thing. But when it's going out there into the world, I think people are trying to be advice gurus. Maybe that's the way it worked for them, but it's so much more open than that. Like, how do you explain someone like, is it Sam Doe Arts? He's like so young. He's really, really young, and he's an absolute superstar in art right now. It's like, okay, did you pay your dues? Okay, he's a good artist, sure. He's got a shtick, and he just markets really well, and he's been really smart about it. I mean, there's for every rule that someone gives you on success, you're gonna find someone who turns that rule on its head, and so you have to account for that.
yeah, for sure. And we're only tied down by some of our beliefs.
Tied down or released, but
Yeah.
people tend to be more constrained than anything else.
Well, like a lot of beliefs are just preformed opinions that people have been feeding you since you were little.
Yeah, like
grow on trees. Blah, blah,
like
blah.
the idea of sales is boring and horrible and immoral, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that one? You get into sales, oh my gosh, that's a soul-sucking job. You got to be fake, you got to play people. It's horrible, right? Like, that is absolutely not true. It's not. Like, my thought on what sales were growing up was dead wrong. Absolutely dead wrong. Sales is amazing, and it's a necessary part of every business. And if you don't like it, you're going to be living in the poorhouse. It's like that's how things work, is through sales, and it's a beautiful thing. It is the way it is. That's human nature, Anyway, sorry, I'm on this business trip right now.
That's all right. I'm getting a sense of it. Oh, I'm just having fun trying to draw.
Yeah, I think I need to redo this particular layer.
Exploring the blacks.
I'm just gonna do this.
Like, I could go in and do all the hatching stuff and go totally ballistic on this. But I know I'm trying
You're sticking more with the solid colors, right?
Yeah, I'm going almost more traditional in that regard, right? Where they just focused on a lot of weighted line. And then when they used a lot of specialty line weights and that, it was to indicate texture, right? Like hair or fur or what have you. And then not to mention the amount of crazy stuff that was going on in the Kirby world, right? So
that style, I mean, it works so well in black and white alone, but to think that you're going to go color that and using all the color holds, that's what truly makes it interesting. Oh, we got the usual bots in the chat. Yeah, go away, bots.
Autobots.
Go away.
I haven't even looked at the chats yet.
No, we got no one watching, no one in the chat. It's this is not the prime time for our channel yet.
That's all right.
I've been putting together that perspective tutorial. I spent so long thinking about it the last couple of days, getting ready, getting all the materials ready for it so I can do it on the fly. I don't necessarily have to be at home to make them, and I'm going to start cranking out little mini tutorials, getting all my junkets together.
When I was in Hamilton the other day, I was thinking, oh, it'd be really nice just to come down here for the day and just go downtown and absorb, sit in a coffee shop where you got a view of the street and some of the architecture and just start pulling it.
I love Hamilton. I have very fond memories of that town. It's got a real good art, like art world in there too, eh? Like there's a good arts community. At least there was a couple of years ago. I think it's still the same.
I don't know.
Very vibrant.
Don't know much about Hamilton.
And the architecture is kind of like, it's totally different than Toronto. Like it's more industrial, but also kind of, I don't know, institutional is maybe the word I'm thinking of. Institutional, like, you know what I mean? Like lots of like big government buildings, like brick, not that modern. Like there's a modernization to it, but it's still got that old kind of, it's just a little bit grittier than Toronto. Red brick. That's my vibe of Hamilton, is lots of red brick.
You get like all those traditional vibes from like the older buildings, right? Like that colonial style, you know, and then the cross section of everybody wanting to add like Greek elements and Roman elements to their building, right?
Yeah.
But there was a bank downtown. It was really funny because I was like looking up at it and it said something Bank Co, but there was a circle beside the other O, so it's read Banking Co.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Story checked out. Way to go, Banking Co.
That's right. It's not like an A, but like an O, but that's just funny.
Not bad. Way to go, Hamilton.
Sounds about right with the banking world. Just a big coup.
Yeah. I like what's happening with cryptocurrency, online banks. It's pretty good. A little bit. The more control I have over the stuff instead of relying on another, like the bank's judgment, the better. Like I don't like when they're trying to assess my risk for investments, a risk assessment. It's like, no, screw off with that. Just let me do the investing. I don't need you guys to tell me what to do. You're just going to take all your fees out of my money.
Well, they're just going to reinvest your money anyways and make way more off your money than you do. This is the way.
That's just it. They're just, they're trying to get trust out of you. They're trying to make you trust them, and then they charge you for it. It's like, no. You know what my risk assessment is? I don't like the risk coming from banking with you guys. That's really what it is.
Yeah, I do. Like the tardigrade is all through online banking now, right? So I hardly pay any fees for my business account.
You use Simply?
No, I use Alterna.
Oh, nice. I haven't heard of them. How are they?
Good. A couple downfalls with online banking, but still very good.
Yeah. There are so many things that I absolutely love about Clip Studio Paint. Like right now, this engine, this drawing engine of using the drawing tool, the ways Clip has it set up, is liberating. This is fun. I can get used to this. Opacity 100%.
Let's catch some of that eyebrow in there. Yeah. Just a brief highlight. Swink, swink, swink. I don't know, I'm looking at the little rush of sperm coming out of this portal, and I'm not into it. Just thinking like streamers, but nah, it's not working.
Is it going to be energy?
Yeah, I'm not really on the screen. There we go. But I've probably been working half the time and not even been in focus.
Meh. That's how it goes.
But I'm working again on the spread page for Thaddeus Zabrowski's book, Complex Dimension. So
Zabrowski sounds Polish. Is he Polish or is he Russian?
I don't know. I can't remember. Sorry. He told me that wasn't in my catalog of memory right now.
It's really bad that I get those two confused. Russia invaded Poland, right? Russia's been very bad to Poland over the years, and so there's some enmity between the peoples.
Well, it's hard really to tell who hasn't invaded who over the course
over the years. Yeah, yeah, right.
Cultures that have been abolished and extinguished and destroyed, and nobody knows anything about them.
Mm-hmm.
And some cultures where people still have no idea where the hell they came from.
Yeah.
Where did you guys come from? They were just rocking their inner Wakanda. You know, they had like a gate or a portal that protected them from the outside world, and then they were allowed to develop for thousands of years.
Yeah. All right. I think there's my little bit of progress today. I don't know about those word bubbles either. They're a little weird.
I forget what culture it is, but it's a culture in the Mediterranean that they have no idea like where their ancestors are from, or where, you know, there's no, and they can't even tell like in their genetics like where they came from. I can't remember the culture. But we all originated in Africa, right?
Well,
that does not
probably
not fit my narration.
No, it doesn't, eh?
No.
Well, the thing is, here's the thing for me. It's that the geology of the world shows that all of the continents were merged at one point in one continent.
And the main continent we all emerged from was
what is it called?
Is otherwise known as Australia.
No, what's the name of that giant continent that would have incorporated everything?
Pangea.
Yeah, thank you. So here's my theory.
Sorry.
Here's my theory. So it wasn't actually a continent. That was the entire Earth at one point was were all those continents. And then there was a collision, and the Earth was given a whole bunch of extra mass, a collision or maybe a series of collisions.
Yeah.
And so the Earth became bigger, and a whole bunch of water was added and stuff. And so that assisted in all the continents kind of spreading out over a much larger Earth. That's my thought. It wasn't just that like that we had a continent and the rest of the Earth was water. I don't think so. I think that's how it was.
It is possible, very possible, that all the water on Earth was introduced by a comet, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That it was not celestial in nature.
Yeah.
I like
That's
talking
probably when that
sci-fi.
happened. That's when you had all the material that made the Earth, or it made the moon too, because there was some kind of giant collision that threw all of the material up into orbit, and then it congealed. And
Yeah, but the moon's not even of the same substance or material. Like it's not.
Yeah, it is. That you've heard. I heard that it was.
No, it's not.
Really?
Yeah, but there's also writings of ancient writings that talk about before the moon and after the moon, you know, where the moon was there and then it wasn't there.
I know nothing of these writings.
Yeah, I can't. Sorry, the names are eluding me right now, but it's well documented in ancient texts about when the moon was there and then when the moon wasn't. So
interesting.
I guess you'd kind of notice it if it wasn't there and then the next day it was there.
All right. Well, listen, man, I'd love to keep chatting and keep doing this, but I got to run. I got to get ready.
All right.
Treat.
Take it easy.
I will. I'll be in touch. Enjoy.
Sounds good. Bye
All
for
right.
now.
Bye.
And let's rock this video again because it's just so awesome. Sweet. All right, let's get back to work here. Back to work. Kind of blocked by my little banner here. I didn't even notice that. There we go. Stick me up in the corner. I'm trying to hold off on rendering into the drawing too much. Just because I want to keep it looking more traditional in a sense. But I am kind of really trying to hold back from rendering into it. Because view will be probably somewhere in here. Break up some of this black. Turned out a little funky there on the one side. Thanks, Darrell. Darrell's watching from the sidelines. I think the most detailed panel I have is probably the close-up of his face, which is probably, well, it is the first panel. Darrell is the writer of, hey, do you want to come on, Darrell? The writer of Sasquatch Viking. I don't even know if I invited Darrell. Man, some days. It was a drawing stream, but I guess if he wants to, he can come on. He can rock the moderation. $11:39. Oh, so he was just there commenting. Darrell's also the writer of The Fatal Charades. I'm pretty certain all the links are in the description. Come on, Darrell.
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Not bad.
I think I like this view, even though it's still smaller because it showcases the actual whole screen rather than a sectioned out part of the screen.
I getcha. It's nice and clear though, like the page you got going on and stuff.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah, I had Liam on a bit earlier, so did you see that he
I
was
think
here?
I popped in. I appeared there for a second and heard you guys on there, and then I changed devices so that I could listen while I worked on some stuff myself.
Nice. We're talking about the moon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How I heard it was made out of different materials than the materials on Earth, like its overall consistency. But
I've heard so many crazy things about the moon that like some people have said it was like flown here or like pushed here and serves as like a monitoring station or something, or like there's a secret base inside of it, or I don't know. There's tons of I find the stories fascinating myself because of the possibilities, but there's so many out there. I don't know what the hell to believe.
And there's a lot of far-fetched stuff for sure, but
Oh yeah.
Reality.
Yeah, like laser battles and stuff up there.
Yeah, reality is definitely stranger than fiction.
For real, man.
Yeah, like something about the orbiter or whatever, when it first landed on the moon, it made a ringing noise, right? So
I remember hearing something about that. Like it was like hitting the metal hull of a ship or something, like, and it was vibrating.
yeah, and the moon rung like a bell for a long time.
That's pretty fucked up. I mean,
It definitely is odd for sure. So
yeah, like that means either it's like is a construct or is made of at least a material that has some kind of weird collective resonance when it gets struck with something. I mean, I wonder how hard they were coming in when they landed, you know, to like what kind of an impact it would have made.
oh yeah, they probably came in soft.
Yeah, I mean, you think of like I don't know how often the moon gets hit by like, you know, extraterrestrial stuff, but I'm sure it's often enough. That would be cool to have some way to detect it ringing at the same, like, you know, in the same way.
Oh, for sure.
Once we're up there with a more steady presence and like better detection stuff, I bet we'll learn a whole bunch of crazy shit, man. Same with Mars.
Well, China's up there, and China's like the first one to be rocking the dark side of the moon, right?
Yeah, yeah. I saw they found out what their weird space hut was, and it was just some rocks. But I don't know. I still found the whole thing pretty cool, and I find it's cool that it's like not necessarily live streamed, but like they're being pretty open with showing pictures of what they see, right? Because they're kind of showing off to the world a little bit too.
And I'm sure if it was an alien ice fishing hut on the moon, they'd be all over it showing it.
Right? Yeah, there would have been no mention of any hut whatsoever, I wouldn't think. Not as long as there was like the potential for some kind of technology to be exploited or something like that, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. So we all know about the wanting to hide technologies from other countries, and
Yeah, man, it's a big motivator in secrecy.
for sure.
I've heard some of the best UFO videos that the government has. The reason they can't be released in a lot of cases is because of what they reveal about the monitoring systems and technology of the craft and ships that they were using when they caught the footage.
For sure, because definitely the military is operating at a far more superior tech than what we know of today, right? So
Yeah, for sure, man. Yep. Some of the ships and stuff, like, I mean, they're designed to stop incoming missiles. That's got to be pretty fucking sophisticated shit, right?
for sure, their
And
technology.
that's the stuff that we know about, that I know about. I mean, like you said, there's probably tons of hidden shit. I know they're actively using lasers and stuff now that are pretty powerful.
Yeah, all because of Dr. Evil. We got laser beams on sharks right now.
On sharks, yeah. Sharks with freaking laser beams.
That's right. So were you doing some writing then, or what?
Yeah, I was working on Black Spire for a little bit. I did a whole bunch of research yesterday for Solomon, for demons and stuff. So I started up a document for that for Bob to do some character sketches from.
Oh yeah, he's already starting to hash that out.
Oh no, this is kind of like sitting there waiting for him when he's finished the Fatal Charades, but he's eager to move on. Like he wants to finish and then do some like different style drawing. So yeah, he's not like bailing by any means or anything like that or feeling bad. I think he's doing an awesome job. It looks great. He's like, I believe he's the one sitting on all the files, because I don't have any of them either. I just have the ones that he shows me on
He's just sitting on them like a goose egg.
Yeah, like,
protecting
well,
them.
I asked him yesterday if there was one that I could share, like a fully inked page, and like he took a long time to respond, and then he was like, well, any of the ones that I've shown you, you can go ahead and do it. I don't know whether he feels self-conscious or what, but every time I put up a page that he's done, we get a good response. We got a couple new followers today from, I think, from me posting that one page.
Nice.
It depends on how much I tag stuff too. I'm really bad about tagging shit to the right. Like, I don't know the right tags to use, you know? It would be helpful if there was a block of tags that I just could like copy paste. I could just make one, I guess.
Oh, I hear you. I just kind of went with I was just watching a video on the algorithms of YouTube and stuff, and they're talking about not using more than 15 tags. If you do use more than 15 tags, then the algorithm doesn't even pay attention to it.
Oh, interesting. Acts like you're kind of trying to spam something, which it sounds like you are, frankly.
Basically. So,
Yeah. Well, 15 is a lot.
yeah.
I see people get up there though, man. There's like the message often is like 1%, and then the rest is just tags. I'm like the opposite, but I don't know. I'm still learning to social media.
Yeah, well, from what I heard from the algorithms, and I think it has to do with the newer algorithms, and maybe that's what people haven't caught on to yet, is that over hashtagging, right? So
Yeah.
but I haven't.
Well,
Sorry, man.
that's interesting, man. No, go ahead. I'm interested in the whole secret workings of YouTube. I have not delved too much into it, but I find it interesting.
Look at, I used my very first speed lines, man.
Nice. They are effective speed lines. It looks speedy.
Speedy, like auto glass or what?
Wah, wah.
Yeah,
That's a cool panel, man. Looks good.
it's a pretty good punch or whatever, but he's not even making real contact. He's just using his whatchamacallits, his energy to just kind of whoosh by the character and slice the character, or use his special evil skills, which will be unraveled as the story unravels. His evil skills.
Nice. No, it's all looking really cool, man. Are you guys coloring this one? I can't remember.
Yeah, this one's being colored.
Nice. I think it's gonna look wicked with color. Right now it looks awesome, don't get me wrong. And I really like the panel layout for this page.
I'm definitely starting to figure stuff out with how I want to represent panels. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
It's so funny because some of the buttons are so slow, and I don't know if it's my keyboard, but when I hit them, they don't register right away.
Oh. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Like, maybe your cord for your keyboard is aging or something.
No, I just think my keyboard needs to be replaced.
Fair enough.
Keyboard
You stretch goal, get Chad a new computer.
Yeah. Well, and get me an iPad so I can take breaks away from this room.
Yeah, dude. No, that's important. It is. I've had some good moments sitting out. I mean, it's awkward trying to write out somewhere else because I gotta bring like my bag with me and shit. But I don't know. It is nice to get out, even after a walk or something, and then sit down and bust some stuff out.
Well, I'd probably just bust out of the house, and coffee shops obviously aren't open right now, but
That's a really good point. Yeah, I have not gone into like a coffee shop or whatever. Mostly because the only time I leave the friggin' house is when I take Callie somewhere or I go get groceries or whatever, right? Because I'm such a shut-in. But like, I don't know. I think that's a good idea. Maybe
Oh,
I should try to do the classic coffee shop thing.
I used
I
to
only
spend,
just learned how to do docs offline.
nice. I spent a lot of time in coffee shops in college, and that's where I actually did a lot of my thinking stuff, right? A lot of my planning for projects and that, just hanging
Yep.
out in a social environment. So
Yeah, it can be stimulating and cool to be. I did do some like work in university in those kinds of settings, and I didn't mind it. It just helps because you can kind of stop for a second and like people watch for a minute, or you know what I mean. Just get in and out of your own head.
well, and two, it's just about just changing it up, right? Changing the scenery up. I'm
Yeah,
always a huge fan about just changing the scenery up, and technology's allowed you to do that, right? So
yes, sir, man. I know on days where depression is haunting me, uh, the idea of writing in my room where I sleep is like it kind of sickens me a little bit for some reason. Like, not that I think there's anything wrong with it, but like you said, I think it is nice to get out and move around to a new space creatively. And you're right, technology does let us do that. My setup is still a little bit awkward. Like, I have my tablet plus my weird remote keyboard thing, but uh, there's definitely stuff out there. Like the one that Robe has is pretty nice and slim.
nice. Some dude from Turkey saying hello.
Well, that's nice. Hello, Turkey.
Nazmi.
Cool.
So I don't think it's a spammer, but I don't know.
Well, let's hope not. I mean, what did they accomplish by spamming here? They come in, they like drop advertising bombs or something. Is that like a thing?
I don't know, Darrell.
All right, fair enough.
So it is streaming online too, right? So as to
Yeah.
what channel it's coming from a YouTube channel, so it could be coming from my channel or from Liam's channel. So
Oh, gotcha.
yeah.
So Liam coming back.
No, Liam had to head into work or whatever.
Oh, is he back out on the road?
He's back out on the road. Yeah, he actually contacted me from the bus yesterday. He was trying to set up his camera so we could do like live streams from the bus.
Is it like the Brantford City bus?
No, he's in like Toronto, man.
Oh, really?
He was at Yorkdale Mall yesterday.
Well, that's right. You guys can't get together physically very often, and that's why you were like you were gone for a while that one week.
Well, I connected with him one weekend while we were up to hockey tournament, right? So
well, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. Make sure I'm on the right layer here, Darrell. Nothing worse than going into the sun's coming in now, but you can't really see that on my screen.
I can catch a little bit of light from what's your left-hand side, but not much.
I'm almost done with this panel. I might leave it and move on to the next one just in case if I need to make modifications.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I can't remember. My other panel's actually not here. I'm in the wrong folder. Oh, and it's really cool now because I'm using OBS. You can't actually see that I'm actually going through files and stuff like that to open up another panel, which is wicked. You only see when the panel opens. So
that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's helpful, especially when you have a whole bunch of reference shots of like, I don't know, shit you don't necessarily want everybody else to see.
Well, people don't need to really see all your crap, you know. I got tons of crap laying around my computer. Let's check it out.
Well, there are, yeah. Plus, there are some weird people out there who could glean certain information and maybe try hacking your ass, you know, under those circumstances too. I'm not positive of that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. Control. I don't wonder if I should just leave that and then try to build the layer on top of that. Heck yeah. Yeah, I don't know much about that stuff either. So, but I'm sure certain things could be affected for sure. So get the bots working in there. Trying to hack it.
You know, screenshots and friggin' zoom in, and who knows what you can learn.
Oh, but we're picking up a little momentum again on the Vikings and the amount of pledgers over the last couple days too. So
yeah, I imagine it's going to come and go in waves. I mean, it's been kind of like a steady thing so far, every couple days or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I think we're going to get there. I feel that confidence.
yeah, I think we're going to get there too. So we just got to keep on rolling out.
Yep.
New things and interesting things for people to be watching for, right? So
yeah, I mean, I don't want to go too hardcore like every day with it from my side, but I do you know, every couple weeks maybe I'll do a short video.
yeah, I
keeping
hit
people reminded.
hit every couple days over just social media, and then
Yep.
I'll send out an email or an update to people as well.
You have a bigger reach, I think, with the tardigrade thing than I do on my side as well. Like, I don't want to bomb the same 100 people with the same thing over and over again, but I do want to bring out reminders that, you know, there's this many days left, or if we have an update in terms of like our pledges have gotten this far. So I think like that builds the momentum for people buying it too. Just seeing that a product that people are enthusiastic about a product, I think it like lends to the overall momentum of the project as well. So
for sure. And then people being aware and updated. I know like Christmas had just taken place, and you know.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's a bit of a tough. We might have like a little bit of a more influx come February too for that reason.
But you know, comic nerds, I don't think it matters when. They just
probably not. I mean, dudes like me, I have to budget what I buy and when, but there's dudes out there that are like they got thousands and thousands of dollars put into it. More power to them. They're the people we love, right? But
oh yeah, people love their comics. They love to support comics. They love new comics. So, and then you know, comics are great
to be a part of it. I am happy to have found a bit of a small home in this community.
And you know, we're going through another comics gold rush right now, right?
Is it like globally?
Yeah, like it's the new I think it's Scorched or something, like McFarlane's new book, which is like a female Spawn.
Oh, really?
Broke records, right? As to
like the physical copy of it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really encouraging.
Yeah, and records haven't been seen like this since the 90s.
Wow.
So
I wonder what the difference is. I mean, we can say the pandemic. Do you think it's the pandemic, really?
It's just a hot girl Spawn.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, that's Spawn was huge no matter what. Like McFarlane's pretty awesome in terms of his art style. I never did get into the Spawn story, really. But
but even with king spawn and all the other spawns that are going up right now at this time, the presence of this new character seems to have sparked a lot of interest. So
that's cool.
yeah, which is cool for sure.
Nice. Well, it makes me feel good. I have two potential storylines that are both not like the same as Spawn, but I feel like a person who enjoys Spawn would also enjoy that. Give it the right artist and see how it goes.
Well, for sure. There's definitely lots of avenues to tap into. So
Yeah, man. More by the day.
yeah. Alan texted me earlier, and he's almost crushed page 6 of Silver Sparrow.
Nice.
So
what is his role? Is he pencils? No, because you've gotten up to page 20 in pencils, right?
Yeah, he's inking it. So
okay, nice.
When's
your rough timeline for that book to be finished?
Well, it needs to be colored and needs to be lettered, and then it'll be ready to go.
Nice.
So it should happen fairly quickly.
Are you coloring?
I am coloring.
Nice.
I'm tapping in all resources, man.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you keeping yourself that busy.
Lettering, coloring, doing some, a little bit of drawing.
Oh, it's awesome. These are all like skills that are going to serve you well for yourself and even for people seeking out your work from like outside sources.
For sure. It's all going to come together, and it already is. So
yeah. I actually can't wait to see if books like Solara or like Moon Moth, Cicada, or whatever, if they ever get done. I can't wait to kind of see if how your style continues for those as well, because I really like the styling you've got going on here for Thaddeus. It looks really cool.
Well, there's definitely going to be some progression in style and development of style as well, right? So
well, the more you do, right?
Yeah, there's I got some pretty interesting things, I think, in the wings with how I want to move my style forward. So
nice.
It'll be interesting for people to see. So
that's cool. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, it'll be nice. Just like with Bob's stuff.
Yeah, he's come a long way too, eh? Even just in one book.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I think he just never would have had the opportunity to really put those skills to use, at least to that extent, before getting in on a project like this. But I mean, you stretch your wings and off you go. I think he is really, really going to shine for Solomon. Just like the characterization and like the demons and stuff, I think it's going to be a big deal for him.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I just kind of draw characters as I go. I'm just
he like we were talking about yesterday, and he's like, give me like real life human pictures of people that you would kind of think this character might. So I'm like searching like bearded Iranian men on my computer and shit like that, right? Like trying to find dudes who look kind of Middle Eastern, but are in like their 40s or whatever. And then what did I use? Christina Hendricks for Lilith, the female demoness chick when she's in her human form.
Nice.
She's the chick from Mad Men. So I got this document with like all these pictures of her in it and weird Middle Eastern dudes, and then descriptions of demons and stuff.
Nice. draws a picture and it ends up being like Jesus. That's Jesus. What was I watching Dexter the other day, and he's like, yeah, there's a sketch of the person who saved this little boy during this murder or whatever, and he draws a picture of Jesus. Because he views like Dexter as his savior from like these evil people that were using like trafficking.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I watched like the first season of Dexter a long time ago. My buddy had like back when, well, I guess Blu-ray is still a thing, but not, I mean, back when physical movies and stuff were still a thing. He had like the first season collected and he gave it to me to watch, but I never got past that part or past the first season.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's hit and miss with me as to when I watch it. So
I hear you. Is it like the family watches it and you kind of come in and out?
Yeah, basically, and I do my own thing. We have it. Liam pop back in.
Hey.
Well, what's up, our nerd?
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Oh, you're in your car, aren't you?
I am. Is ambient noise or is it okay?
No, it's good.
It's not bad.
All right. Cool. How you guys doing?
Great.
What's going on, Darrell?
Oh, not much, man. Just chilling, doing some writing today.
Oh, sweet. Right on. It is beautiful and sunny out and minus 13 degrees Celsius.
Fuck,
Super awesome.
I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. What's minus 13 in Fahrenheit? So if like 72 is room temperature and minus 32 is 0 degrees, we're probably somewhere in the area of like 20 degrees Fahrenheit, 20.
You know how I rate it?
I don't know.
You know how I rate
my
it?
My math shuts down when it comes to the brain, or my brain shuts down when it comes to the maths.
Your math shuts down when it comes to the brain?
yeah, that too. Wow, you can see right there the malfunction happening in real time.
It's like math brain, writing brain, two different brains.
Yeah.
Here, let me grab my cricket sound.
Does he actually have the cricket sound? Is he going to grab it? I'll bet you he has sound effects.
I can't remember where I saved the cricket sound, but I did save it.
I knew you did. I knew you were being literal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more to discuss and describe me. So when Liam was talking about something and I wasn't sure where he was going with it, I would just rock the cricket sound.
Play the crickets.
Yeah.
Awkward sound.
I go off on tangents sometimes.
That's okay.
Yeah, there's this thing that rolls through my head every once in a while, and it's one of those like pragmatic sayings. Like, I'm into self-help, right? I love the self-help books. I'm always reading books. And one of the things it says is 5 years from now, you're going to be the same person you are, except for the books you read and the people you meet. So you got to be real careful about the people you hang around with. And you want to always be taking in books that are kind of helping you go where you want to go, right? But the problem is that I start thinking about these books and I start talking about them. And I'm not the only person that likes sometimes I am the only person that likes self-help. You know?
So I have a mixed relationship with it due to like complications from past relationships, but that's my burden to bear.
Oh, it's like the Pavlov effect.
Yeah, maybe.
Pavlov? Yeah, like you like it just reminds you of that bad thing.
Yeah. Well, like it's a person, but it's just like they were really into that, but they were into it in a way that
was unhealthy.
Well, it was very, very surface level. Like it was like they weren't taking in the things they were reading, and then they would just move on to sort of the next thing without having
practicing what they preached.
Oh,
yeah, precisely that. Yeah, and that's an epidemic problem. But not anyway.
I hear you. Yeah, it's like if you implement like one thing that you learn rather than just taking in all this information and doing nothing with it and just having this vast library in your brain of like facts and things that can happen, but you don't do anything about it, and it doesn't serve you any purpose except for making you think that you're intelligent.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, I'm definitely not in that category, so.
Well, I can get into a mode where I'm just sort of intellectually collecting shit. But sometimes it'll be about like history. So it's just history it stimulates the story loving part of me. So it's just full of stories, period. So that one I don't feel
yeah,
bad
man. Like history is the best. So what do you read? Do you read biographies or like what kind of stuff?
For when it comes down to history, my vast majority of intake has been podcasts, actually. Like I have a bunch of history books. I took a few history courses in university, but for the most part, just podcasts. Just like oh god, what's his name? Dan Carlin was one of my favorite ones about the wars, World War I, World War II. He did a great one on the Russian front of World War II, which is like something I knew very little about, but was a really like intense, very holy crap humanity type of a moment.
Yeah, I get a lot of war history from the Jocko podcast. He gives book recommendations, so I've read several books in the past couple of years now on World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam. And for some reason, Darrell, like, I don't know if you're like this too, but I get a real sense of comfort when I read war stories. It's really strange.
Yeah,
it's like things are not as bad. Like it could be so much worse. Look at this guy. He's in a foxhole, like surviving borders.
For real, and our society is not required to throw somebody into that position right now, right? Like that comforts me, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this dude survived that, and he has an amazing outlook, and I want to be like that. That's kind of my thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's a part of me too that like I'm not a gun guy or anything really, but like I love like strategy. Like I'm a big admirer of Napoleon, aside from the whole like sort of murderous outcomes of some of the things that he did. But in terms of like strategy and inventive thinking, I guess, is something that I really admire. So I get a lot of that from war history, just the commanders and the generals and what they did.
It's a huge, like it's the theater of war, right? Like I love that term because it incorporates the term theater, and theater is the expression of the human condition and the way people are in this elevated kind of drastic way where you're seeing the best and worst of humanity played out with real consequences in real time and from multiple points of view. Like there's no one way to look at one particular war. You can read books on Vietnam from several different angles and come up with like several different conclusions.
Yeah, for sure. That was one of the things I learned from Dan Carlin's coverage of the Eastern Front was a lot of his source material would come from journals and stuff that the soldiers themselves kept. So he would be reading these like journal entries, and man, what a world turning thing to hear another human speak from such a different circumstance than you could possibly imagine being in, or at least I could.
Reading right from journals? Serious. Sorry, go ahead, Chad.
You know what I learned all that stuff from is my parents had like these old time life history of war.
Nice.
And there was these huge books, and they were all documented by war illustrators and the stories as well. And that's what I read when I was like 8 years old. I would go through these books drawing pictures of, like characters fighting and stuff like that. And that's basically where my illustration journey began, was with like war illustrators from like Time Life. So
those guys are no joke. Like, yeah, Time Life was no joke back in the day. They were amazing.
Their weather's cool. National Geographic used to be really awesome too. I don't know if it still is, but I used to love going through old copies of that.
The photography is like in the nature of the science and stuff in National Geographic, but they're really like they've all gone very political, or maybe it's just that I'm older now and more aware of political bias. That it's like I take it with a grain of salt. But the great thing about National Geographic then and now is that they're cutting edge, like bleeding edge photography. So the stuff that you're seeing in those images is just like they're space issues. If you look at what's happening now, they'll have images from Cassini and from all the like the Land Rover on Mars, and it's high definition, other worlds. Like it's incredible. All the stuff on, say, Jupiter, for instance, or Mars, I think it is. They had all those images of Mars Saturn, where they had the octagon clouds on the polar regions. Do you see that?
Oh,
they're like geometric clouds. Oh my gosh, Chad, you know what I'm talking about, right? You've seen those.
I've seen lots of things.
That would be mind-blowing. Can you imagine standing on a ground? I mean, I don't know if that planet has a physical ground, often like gas giants or whatever, but can you imagine standing on the ground and looking up and seeing that? Like how surreal that would be.
It's incredible. I think about it all the time. What it would be like first person to be, in Jupiter. In like, I guess because you'd be in it, you wouldn't be on it, right? You'd be like a different level.
You would have to. Yeah, I'm not super up on the independent details of each planet. I know like space is of huge interest to me. I've watched like a ton of there's this dude on YouTube that I love, Isaac I don't know, but he's like a futurist or whatever. So he talks about like future technologies and space travel and stuff like that, and like what societies would be like if they achieved certain levels of technological achievement and stuff.
You have to send me the link. That sounds right up my alley.
God, I'll you know what? I'll look for it because it's probably on my subscriptions.
It's in my subscriptions.
I gotta bring a guitar with me every time I go on a stream with Chad.
Darrell's got a guitar.
Yeah, so we were we went from war to like National Geographic to outer space in the span of like 2 sentences. It was fantastic.
It's all related.
It is, yeah. So what I was saying about the photography thing, like National Geographic and Time Magazine, like I think National Geographic is probably past its prime now. I don't know if it is. I don't know what the readership is, but like back in the day, my grandparents, they had this shelf of National Geographic and Reader's Digest.
That's where I'm coming from too. Is like finding a box of them in like my parents' friend's place, and I don't know. It was the photography that got me. At that point, I was not sophisticated enough to like read it for politics or anything like that. The dude's name is Isaac Arthur, by the way.
Okay.
His channel is called Science and Futurism with Isaac Arthur.
Okay, I'll check it out. I follow a bunch of different tech things and future things, and it's probably come up in my feed every once in a while. The one that strikes me is Astrum. Astrum is one thing that comes up in my feed a lot, and they show amazing stuff.
Cool, man. How do you spell that?
Like Astro, but with a U, so Astrum.
Okay.
R-U-M.
Gotcha.
A-S-T-R-U-M.
Yep, I found it.
Yeah, he's great. It's a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
Isaac Arthur has a crap ton of this looks very like in terms of like how he organizes his videos or whatever, Astrum, it looks similar to Isaac Arthur. But Isaac Arthur is definitely like some of it is I mean it's way out there, thousands of years in the future kind of stuff, right? Like
Oh
stuff
wow!
that will be possible at some point, and a lot of it I found great for inspiration for science fiction stories, because there's just so many cool ideas that people have come up with.
Like when you're talking about thousands of years of technological development, like just one little thing, like one little aspect of technology today would go down this crazy rabbit trail. And like it brings in the concept of deep time into technology. Like that's basically what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, in terms of evolution, the idea of deep time and the origin of man and of life, you know about all that?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so you just take on like one aspect of evolution, whether it be like a little tiny microorganism or a piece of technology that was designed for a widget, and you just tack on time to it. Time, which like will bring in all of these random factors, like evolution.
Okay.
Yeah, like evolution is so specific, right? Like you take a fox, right? And we have a northern fox, and it's adapted because it's been in that area so that it has white fur and it blends in and it can handle the cold, and its paws are a little bit bigger and softer. And then you have like a fox in the desert. It's the same fox, right? But over time it's changed. And so like, and that's just in a couple of thousands of years, say like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years, what those changes would bring. It would be a totally different animal, right?
Yep.
Anyway, so that's what takes place with technology as well. Like it'll be something completely wild, but it has its roots in now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Dude talks about like Dyson spheres and stuff like that a little bit, or I don't know. There's a ton of really cool subjects. But he's an interesting dude. I'll check out some of those Astrum videos.
Yeah.
Is he still there, Liam?
I am. I don't want to hog. I talk a lot, so I'm trying not to talk a lot. I'm trying to be friendly and give other people air to talk.
I'm just making a call.
Nice.
I was going to say something, but I totally lost it.
So I'm driving by an osprey nest right now, and I watch this thing. It's up on this giant platform the size of a telephone pole, but it's got this big platform where this huge nest, and it's been there for years. Like, it never really goes away. It survives the biggest windstorms, doesn't matter. But these birds that are in there, they've had families, and I go by and I see people taking photographs of it every once in a while, especially in the mornings, right? There's a couple of nature enthusiasts. They go with their 300 millimeter zoom camera, and they're watching these things.
Stick it right
it's
up.
It's so cool, man. It's like I pay attention to birds of prey a lot as I'm driving, because there's lots of hawks around here too, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
there's a couple of places. Yeah, every single morning there's a couple of places where these hawks will go and perch and they'll watch, and I'm like, oh, here comes Joey. Yeah, there he is. There's Joey. He's hunting mice right now. Every single day.
That's cool that you see them in the same places. We have some eagles that have come back in around Woodstock, actually, in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, there's resident bald eagles that live in Woodstock, and they nest actually in the apartment buildings there. The Chieftain Towers. Chieftain Towers.
Yeah, down in that area, totally. they like disappeared for a little while, or at least their population thinned out quite a bit, but they've sort of made like a resurgence lately. So you actually see them out hunting above Pittock quite often now.
Yeah, no DDT.
So the bald eagles, like that's like bigger than a hawk, and does it have the white head?
Yeah.
Like the white feathers on the head?
These
That's
are like
so cool.
these are definitely bald eagles, but I would say they're a little bit smaller than what you might expect from like an American bald eagle, like the classic. At least that's just my impression of them. Maybe I'm wrong. My only true basis for that is when I went to the zoo once and saw bald eagles up close, and they were massive. Like their wingspan was huge.
I think it's your perception.
Well, speaking of like resurgence, so you've heard about the peregrine falcon?
Yeah, it has like the fastest diving speed out of any bird.
Peregrine?
Yeah, those things are like they're the cheetah of the air world, you know, like
Yeah.
like so they've made a big comeback in Toronto.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
their dive is incredible. So they feed on pigeons. That's their so they've learned that pigeons are a food source, and they live in the city, and so there's all these new condos and buildings coming up. Like Toronto's just booming, right? And it's peregrine falcon world. So like pigeons are on the decline in Toronto.
Yeah, we saw one pick off a pigeon in the back last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, right in the barn. It was waiting for it to come out of the barn and picked it off. And my dog went running around the corner and saved the pigeon's life basically because took off. And yeah, it is the falcons, like the small falcons.
Yeah, they look cool, man. And they are smaller, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
They're about the size of a shit hawk.
Are they? I made like a God, what do you call it? A paper mache peregrine falcon in like grade 3.
Oh, dude, that's great.
I remember like reading this book. They wanted us to do a paper mache project, right? They're like do an animal or something. And I was reading through this book about birds, and I read about them, and I was like, man, these things are awesome. I mean, and it was terribly executed, but it was a good try.
Well, that's the thing about like when you're a kid, you're just learning about these things, and you get fascinated by one particular thing, right? And for you, it was peregrine falcons. For me, I was obsessed with squirrels.
Nice.
Because we had this family of squirrels around our house that were really domesticated and friendly, and they would come and eat out of your hands, right?
That's really cool.
Yeah, there was a Dairy Queen across the street from us, this like, you know, awesome ice cream shop, and they would feed the squirrels. So the squirrels had gotten used to that. And it was this one female squirrel, and we called it Poochie. We called her Poochie. And she had litters of other squirrels, like, and she would climb up, you know, your leg and eat out of your hand, and sometimes mistake your finger for the food and whatever.
Yeah.
But she was like the
got
coolest
some big ass
squirrel.
teeth, man.
Yeah, man, giant teeth. Like, and basically, they're like rabbits. They gotta, or beavers. They gotta be chewing things all the time to keep those teeth down. Otherwise, they get too big.
Growing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
really
but that
cool.
was my fascination because they were just so friendly and they were part of our everyday life, you know?
Yeah, there's some dudes on YouTube that build like obstacle friggin' things for squirrels, and it's pretty neat to see their agility and perseverance in trying to get some nuts.
I love that guy, that engineer dude.
Yeah, that's him.
He did 2 videos. His more recent one, he built a casino and had this giant like Fort Knox of nuts, and he just took his original design, which his original design was insane. That's just like that obstacle course was amazing. Like he's got I don't know how many millions of views. I think like 50 million views on that squirrel video. Like it's ridiculous.
Enough
his
to
viewership.
fund the cost of constructing it, because that had to be crazy.
Yeah. He's not hurting for money, man. YouTube has done him right. Like he's so successful.
Me and Chad were talking a bit about the YouTube algorithm stuff earlier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was just saying it was a mystery to me. The most exposure I get is probably from seeing what my daughter watches and how they kind of choose to manipulate children and stuff.
The algorithm is a moving target. It's really tricky to nail down. Like Instagram's algorithms have just changed. We were talking with Felipe Aguirre. Is how do you pronounce his last name, Chad?
Yeah, you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's done really well. Yeah, he's done really well on Instagram over the last. I mean, really well in terms of like I think he has like 50,000 or 56,000 followers on Instagram organically.
Or Felipe?
Yeah, Felipe. Yeah. Was it Felipe or was it the other guy?
No.
No, sorry.
Diego.
That was Diego. David. John Killing. Diego John Killing. Sorry, we've done so many live streams, my friend. It's been amazing. Sorry, Diego John Killing. He's done really well on Instagram, and like he said that in the last year or so that the algorithms have changed and that he's really become disheartened by it, right? And who knows if it's because he also said that he wasn't posting as much. Like he went from posting every day to posting once a week. And that was probably the kiss of death. I think you need to be posting like every day. You need to have all of your meta tags and you got to stay up on the changes and all that. Be paying attention to what people are saying. It's not easy. Yeah. I haven't figured it out yet, but it just takes so much work and dedication, and you're at the whim of just. Yeah.
He has 95,000 followers.
95. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's done really well. It's amazing.
He's from Chile. That's cool.
Yeah. Wow. I would love to have him on more. He was really he has a great personality. And a lot of fun to talk with. Yeah, he's a great illustrator. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely have him on. So I still need to connect and network with him a little bit more too as well. So
gotcha.
It's been just busy with trying to get other things rolling and thinking of other ways to promote Sasquatch Viking in that. So
yeah, that's what I've been trying to think about mostly the last couple of days too. Well, since we launched it.
It's definitely climbing the ladder though. It's still moving, and that's the thing is you just don't want still water. You want it to keep on moving. So each day is a progression towards more. It says we got 32 pledgers now. That's more than this morning.
Yep.
That's beautiful. So yeah, the meta tags are for YouTube. YouTube, from what I understand, is the #1 way to promote these fundraisers, these Kickstarters and Indiegogo campaigns. So you have that, and then you also have the thumbnails. So I made up a couple of templates for thumbnails, and Chad, I know you've got a bunch of videos. You're no stranger to thumbnails either. So those are really good to do that, and then you mess them around a little bit. You change them up over time, and make sure that your description has all of the links in there for everything, and that the description matches your meta tags, matches your content. And I think with that, you're in the golden zone for your algorithm.
For sure.
It's interesting. I just look at myself as only my talent being writing, that there's more limited potential, at least in this community, for me to reach out to people in the same way that artists do, because it's such a visual medium.
I follow a number of writers on Instagram who have pretty big accounts still.
Nice.
I wouldn't shortchange that, but I'll tell you the #1 thing that I've seen with people who are trying, like, for advice for up and coming artists on the internet, is you find your clan. You find a bunch of people who are on the same path as you are, and you stick with them, and you big each other up, you help each other out, and just develop your little community. And we're doing that. Like, we're doing all the right things right now. We are.
That's cool to hear. Oh, that's nice. It makes sense because in a lot of ways, if you look even at the past, like famous artists and really awesome projects and stuff have come in waves. And it's probably that sort of generational appearance of those clans that you're talking about.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the beauty about comic books, is that you're not a solo entrepreneur looking out for yourself and, staring into the abyss on your own. You're with a whole bunch of other people who are also staring at the abyss, but you're standing with them. So it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
it's a lot easier to take. Yeah, like my goal is, like, I know for a fact that if I, help out you, Darrell, and like do something, and you get a whole bunch more followers, or help you promote your books, right? That it's gonna float you, and then you're gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna help you out too, and it's like these kind of mutual good feelings and just helping each other out. Like, that's, like, you're gonna win. You are.
Yeah, for sure.
That's basically all it is.
You're right. I think you're right about us being on the right path with all of that stuff too. There is a nice little circle of people that are developing as this goes along.
Yeah, man, it's really, really cool.
Yeah, I want to start working on some other cover stuff and tinkering with some other stuff.
Like what?
I really like. Sorry, go ahead. You go. Yeah. What are you talking about, Chad?
I was having a vision the other day about a cover, so I think I want to work on the cover.
For which title?
For the Vikings. Yeah, and offer a special variant cover and there's certain things that are coming to the forefront. Oh, yes.
In your visionary mind.
Yeah, there's lots of wheels turning in there. So
yeah, man, that's kind of how my brain works when it comes to new ideas too. They sort of emerge as though they're underwater, and they're slowly revealed by rising to the surface.
I thought of a new character yesterday, though.
Oh, nice.
And just trying to introduce him, but I think he would be a great introduction to the biological series.
Ooh, excellent.
Yeah. And is
it a secret?
It's always a secret, because I've noticed that it's kind of funny how information travels, and then you start to see other things popping up in other avenues as well, creative avenues, whether it be independent or whatever, right? So
sometimes playing one's cards close to one's chest is not a bad thing.
Yeah, I was thinking of actually drawing a couple of the books and not releasing any data or information on the books until they're completely done, or at least until all the pencil stuff are done. So
I love it. Don't broadcast everything you're doing,
Yeah, but I also was thinking of starting drawing, just a title in traditional. Just hit the paper. Keep the paper
fantastic
and the pencil sharp as well. So because I work about 10 times faster drawing on paper than I do digitally.
Do you have a scanner?
Oh yeah, I can pop out probably about 6 full pages in a day.
What? Wow. No.
Digital's still
like
slow.
Layouts. Layouts and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Digital's still slow. No, I'm talking finished pages.
Finished pages.
That would make my wrist hurt.
I think I did 5 pages a couple months ago of Neutron Star, and that was in a day.
I remember that. Yeah.
But but I only worked half the day. So
sometimes you just get in a friggin' mode, eh?
yeah, like the art trance. Art
It's
trance.
incredible. It's incredible. Yeah, that's definitely an accomplishment. Yeah. Wild.
Freakishly. But I don't know. The pages are, they could use more refinement and stuff like that. And oh, look at that. We got another Russian bug, or I don't know. Gerberko corkfig.
Yay, bots! Woohoo, bots!
I don't know why we're getting hammered with so many bots, because I was talking to somebody the other day about that, and they don't get hit by bots at all.
Really?
Yeah. So.
I don't know, man.
Maybe there's a setting or something.
I don't know.
It's interesting to find out what they prey on, because I see the bots on Instagram and YouTube in the chats for artists quite a bit. Can you say who the person was who wasn't getting the bots?
I can't remember, actually, to tell you the truth. Somebody was just talking about it, though. I was talking.
I'd like to know what it is that they're latching onto, because obviously we've had like 4 or 5 of them already this stream.
Yeah, and then if you don't catch them early, then it's hard to get rid of them.
Do they like appear in the chat? I don't usually watch the chat.
Yeah, they appear in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So
I'm not sure if it's platform specific, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or whatnot. I don't know where they're coming from.
But somebody was also saying that it could actually be real people. Just, he says some of the community on YouTube and stuff, they're just really weird ducks. You know, like we'll just go on and just type, and they do live streams all the time, right? So that's how they promote their business. I just remembered who it was, but so. Yeah, it's just fun stuff.
So, Darrell, what we were talking about before about like artists on these platforms. So I follow Chris Claremont on Instagram, and I've watched a bunch of his interviews on YouTube from all these different comic channels. He's an interesting character. Do you know about Chris Claremont?
No, I don't.
So he wrote the X-Men for over 20 years, basically, through the 70s, 80s, and 90s, somewhere in that time span, anyway. And he was, like he saw everything through. He worked with Jim Lee, some of their like that top-selling X-Men first, X-Men #1, the Jim Lee one that sold millions of copies. The Inferno series, Fall of the Mutants, all these things that to me are absolute. Like they're iconic in my childhood, He said something really interesting on one of his interviews, or was it an Instagram post? I think it was on Instagram. He said that the covers of the comic books, like some of the most iconic comic books, he believes that he has credit in that comic cover because he gave a description to the artist to write. He basically wrote the cover of the comic book, being what it is, right? The content of it. And, that's the kind of a controversial, egotistical thing to say. Someone can say that. But coming from an artistic point of view, you can have all the skill in the world, but if you're not drawing something of substance, you're not doing art. You know what I mean? You're just doing craft. So like a writer has to be an artist. And an artist has to be a writer, or you have to have some kind of combination of the two of them to really make it happen. So I'm a firm believer that the artist isn't the only creator of of a comic book. You know what I mean? The writer has a lot of say in it as well, and it should be given credit.
Well, it's understated from a writer's point of view because I think a lot of people reduce writing in comics to what the words you physically see on the page. When in fact, like a lot of it is directorial in a lot of ways, right? Like it's a letter you wrote to the artist, kind of is how Neil Gaiman puts it. But yeah, you're right. There's definitely like this meet in the middle spot. Like I know when I work with Bob and when I've worked with Chad, I generally do like descriptions, but I try to leave it open enough that there's room for that person's creativity to thrive in that space. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But you're writing the content of what they're going to draw, so it gives them a starting point. Yeah, it's vital. I mean, it's all art, right?
Yeah, it all has its place. I mean, maybe part of me has a bit of an inferiority complex when it comes to this medium.
Let's get rid of that inferiority complex, man. How about that?
Yeah, that would be a positive development.
I think it's the artist bent, you know, we want to be ultra authentic, and we set this incredibly high standard that you're never really going to attain, and so you're always feeling like you're losing, you know, at all times. Yeah. It's like that Gordon Lightfoot line, right? Feels like I'm winning when I'm losing again.
I'm always winning. I don't know about you guys.
You're really good, Chad, about staying like positive and stuff like that. I have a tendency to be more like self-pitying, I guess would be the negative way to look at it.
I have my moments.
Overly introspective is the polite way that I put
it. I have my moments.
I think it's the artistic way, man. We all like. It's not just artists. Everybody. I think everybody struggles with it one way or another. You know.
Yeah.
Like how you deal with it really defines you.
It's all part of the learning process. You got to have those moments in order to move forward.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
It's it's just a trajectory thing. So it helps you see and move forward and adjust and tweak and move forward again. So it's whether or not you choose to look back at that or not, but just constantly
or get hung up on what happened in the past and let that control what's going on in your future or your present.
Or
right?
Presently, yeah. I just try not to get too caught up with, you know, what happened yesterday or the day before. The only thing that keeps on dragging me into this bullshit is all this stuff with dealing with all this contrast that keeps on happening around me, right? With, you know, going to see this specialist and going to talk to this person and going, you know, and every person you talk to, they want to talk about all the problems you have, not about all the solutions you want to factor into everything, right? So,
yeah.
It's like, that's the thing about therapy. Like exactly. Like you want to talk, like they always want you to hash out the problem over and over and over again and talk about it more. And it's like, you know, I don't want to deal in the problem. Let's talk about the solution. Let's talk about moving forward, you know, and getting past this.
Yeah. Good. I think good therapists would pull you to that. I don't know. There's only been like one or two, because I've had therapists over the years, and sometimes it's just like, it was most recently described to me that like I was just most recently diagnosed with bipolar and ADHD, and like after having a conversation with the psychiatrist about a lot of that stuff, they pointed out so much of how my behavior was rooted in things that I wasn't even like conscious of at the moment, you know. And looking back, it was like, I don't know, so much clarity. But he said that therapy would not have even really worked for me prior to treating other things, because like you're not in a space where you're ready to receive therapy even, you know. So you have to be there at that time where you can actually receive the advice you're getting and then work on it. You know, a lot of people just float in this in between space.
You know who's really good about talking about therapy and this kind of stuff is Howard Stern.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
A lot of people need therapy after talking to Howard Stern.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, his interviews with Jerry Seinfeld, on his interview, the one that I saw, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, was really good. He talked about that quite a bit. And then I kind of went on this thing, like, I know some people who were really into Howard Stern, right? And he's apparently changed over the years, but I know that therapy became a big part of his life in recent years. And Seinfeld took him to task on it big time. He's like, you don't need therapy. What are you talking about? You don't need therapy. Just hang out with your friends. You know?
Yeah. Hang around, drive sports cars, and drink coffee, man. That's where it's at.
And you're doing well. Yeah, it's great. Anyway, guys, I got to jet. It's been a slice. I might be able to join you later. I just got to see what's going on, but I just got to work here, and I'm gonna touch base with them and see what's up.
All right, take it easy, dude.
All right, bye now.
Yeah, bye.
See ya. I'm loving those eyes on the Sasquatch, man, with the color.
Yeah, I just figure I'd throw that up. But I'm gonna bring the stream to an end here. Just my ears started ringing, and I need to take a break and stuff.
Cool, man.
But I'm gonna just give me 1 second. I'm gonna pump the brand here.
All right.
Yeah, so be sure to head over to the link in the description below and pledge on Sasquatch Viking. So I did the colors and the general outline of the story. Darrell wrote the story. He created the character constructs of all their history and all that other jazz, eh, buddy?
Yeah, it was lots of fun doing so too. I can't wait to show people more about it.
Yeah, I told him, I want this big giant guy in there.
Yeah, and then Gorm came about.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's nice when you can actually like work together and build something and construct something, right?
I love it, man. I love the outcome of seeing it come to fruition. It's very satisfying for me.
For sure. And Krill definitely, created a world in itself.
Yeah, man, he did great. Taking what we gave him and running with it.
For sure. I think the second issue is going to be a lot more prolific. I think given the time constraints and the deadlines that we had put in place for this one, restricted a lot of his creative process.
Yeah.
And I think with given a little bit more flexible timeline and being fairly new, this is the very first book that he's actually done sequentially. So you're gonna see pretty good stuff.
I really look forward to seeing what he comes up with in the future too, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that book will probably start to be or come into fruition probably in the next couple months. So
totally, I'm ready to start writing.
Yeah. and I think that's what they're waiting for, is just the written aspect of it, right? He wants to see what's coming up in that. So
man.
Kind of wants to gear up. I think that was the last conversation that we had was, just to see the written, the outline. Okay, cool. But we kind of hashed out, the direction of where we wanted the general book to go, and that kind of, the big battle scene that's supposed to be coming up here between the in a big battle it will be. So,
yeah, that we're building towards. The Sasquatch King versus Gorm is the ultimate penultimate expression of this story. So
the reveal of the apex predator of both the Sasquatch world and the human world, and there isn't really any sort of apex human when you're comparing it to the physical stature and strength.
No, man. I really look forward to showing the Sasquatch King. That's just what we're calling him now. As like unstoppable force of nature. I think it'll be really dynamic and kick ass when we bring him in and just have that ultimate clash. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. You would just watch him hammering him into the ground like a cartoon character, right? Like hitting
That's
him with
pretty much what I had in mind too. Yeah,
down into the ground.
like a child basically facing an adult almost.
Yeah, like an adult, like superhuman.
Yeah. So Gorm will be humbled.
Very, very humbled. Yeah. And I think that would just be just full on disgrace mode. Kind of like in the last issue of Klondike there, the fight scene, and the physical stature of the beast as he, rips through and just crushes people. And
we're gonna have similar action in the opening of book 2 with the male Sasquatch there with those eyes, those angry eyes.
Well, and 2 with the continuation of the Dawn of Sasquatch, the New Beginnings, and that it starts out pretty full tempo too, showing the characteristics and also the physical prowess of the species, right? So
yeah, man. Yeah, you put a lot of work into that like a short time ago, and then I haven't heard much about it in the meantime because I know you've been bouncing from project to project, so I get it.
Yeah, and I walked the walked the tightrope and wrote a couple stories too. I wrote like 3 stories, so and I outlined them. So you saw those went up into the drive, and it's just hashing them out and putting in dialogue and going through that. But I went basically panel by panel working through the story. And
it was like, I don't know, all you needed was dialogue, if I recall. I'm not sure I've got the right one in mind, but yeah.
Well, there was New Beginnings, and then there was the biological ones, which was the
I was thinking of the one with the hunter on the mountain.
That's the New Beginnings. So yeah,
I look forward to seeing some more of that.
For sure. And I thought too that of bringing another artist in specifically for that series, but we couldn't come to terms.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
So, but
there's that. I mean, the option still exists. You've done a few drawings though, haven't you already for that?
Yeah, I kind of hashed it out, but I still wasn't getting the feel that I wanted for it.
Oh, I see. I get you. Yeah.
Revisit the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to be extra careful with Solomon with how I bring it together, because I feel like it's my moment to shine with the character and the story and stuff. So I want to do it right the first issue to bring in people. It'll have room to grow as well, but I don't know, trying to be more conscientious of how much words to put in on a page and stuff like that. It's something I'm learning as I'm going to.
For sure. Yeah. You don't want to make it too fast, but you don't want to make it too slow as well, right? So
yeah, there's a balance to be found for sure.
Your pacing has to be on par. So
yeah. Have you found pacing in the Spawn comics?
I find it can slow down and speed up and slow down and speed up. So it definitely for me, like I'm not into anything to do about like news and politics or anything like that. So when even I run into those types of things, like there's news and politics, especially in Spawn, because they're using the point of view from the media, I just have no interest in reading that at all. So I just skip right by all that crap because I have no interest, even if it's fictional media talking about things that I'll just kind of skip by and just keep on continuing reading, right? So
I get it. It's almost like even in a fictional setting, it just doesn't do it for you, period, right?
Well, it's a POV that I just don't really care to concern myself with.
Yeah, well, hey man, I find the more into it I get, the more unhappy I become if I spend days at a time, getting involved in the discussion, whatever the discussion is at that time.
Yeah. And also, too, for anybody that's willing to pledge, head over and use the promo code below, and you could be entered in to win a 9.8 CBCS variant of Sasquatch Klondike issue #1, cover created by me, written by Johnny Cassidy, and signed by both the writer and the artist, which is me.
Yeah, it's very pretty. I've seen it in person.
Yeah, it's a nice gift. I think the value is around $50 for the item. So
awesome. No, I think it's a great incentive for people to go check out the Kickstarter campaign and make a pledge.
For sure, and support a project, support indie comics, and support the community, or the community that we're building here. So
yeah, absolutely.
But thanks,
and thank
Darrell.
you so much to anybody who's pledged so far.
And thank you, Darrell.
Thanks for having me.
We got to connect soon, man.
Yes, sir. All right, you take it easy, buddy.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, see ya.